tēnā koutou. Kai tāta mihi kia koutou katoa I tēnei ata. Nau mai hara mai ki te hui whakanui o te rangatahi ora. Ki te hāpori kia koutou I kua tai mai nei ki te kaipara kuihi, ki te whanaungatangi I tēnei ata, tēnā koutou katoa. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. So a warm welcome to you all this morning. For those who have come and those who are supporters and friends of Youth Alive Trust, we warmly welcome you this morning and nau mai, haere mai.
Kia ora miti kraka. Tēnā koutou katoa, no otatahi aho, he kamahi rangatahi aho, ko James Woodpath, toko ingoa. Kia ora. Welcome to the breakfast. I hope you're all feeling well this morning. Thank you. I realise it's an early morning and I realise that you've made sacrifice to be here, so thank you. I do feel, see a lot of warm, welcoming faces this morning, and however nervous I feel right now, I know that you're kind of here to support us as well and to support these youth workers who are going to share their stories, so thank you. I'm one of the co-managers of Youth Alive Trust. In January 2024, I'll have been working at Youth Alive Trust for 20 years. Over the years, I've led... Thanks, Linda. Over the years, I've led most of the various programs within Youth Alive Trust through the various clubs, the holiday programs, the events, the fundraising, the staff management, and the various infrastructure. But it's always been more than just a job for me. This building used to be a supermarket. Youth Alive Trust moved into it in 1991. It's a great location right in the heart of New Brighton. The various awesome spaces, it's been renovated, it's been upgraded, and it's more fit for purpose. But it's always been more than just a building to me. New Brighton's the place where I live. It's where I raised my 3 children. It's where I found my wife. She teaches in a local school and drinks lots of the local coffee. My boys attend one of the local schools, and they play in various sports teams, but it's more than just another local community to me. And I know I'm not the only one. People who live in New Brighton know how amazing this community is. People who come into this building know how unique this place is. And people who are part of Youth Alive Trust know that we've got something very special here. And for those who do come, many end up staying for a long time. Today you'll hear some of the stories of why Youth Alive Trust is so special and the difference it's making into the lives of so many of our local young people. I'm going to take you through a wee bit of a presentation, and the youth workers are going to tell some of their stories about what's been happening for them this year. The vision of Youth Alive Trust is to see Tamariki, Rangatahi and their whānau filled with hope. And we've got our core values which this is based around. The value of hope, fun, faith, encouragement, holistic support, leadership, networking, safety, and inclusivity. Everybody's welcome here. We have a core staff team of about 18, mainly part-timers, about 11, 12 full-time equivalents, 50 regular volunteers, and are governed by 7 trustees. This is the last group photo that we had, the majority of us. We say we do 10 key projects, and I'm going to talk through these key projects this morning. Key project number 1, our weekly after-school clubs. We have 8 weekly after-school clubs. Even our chairman of the board said to us last week, I saw that poster in the toilet. You've got 8 weekly clubs. Gee, I didn't even know you did that much. And it does take a lot of time and a lot of effort to manage those and to manage the volunteers and every young person who comes into those programs. Tamatane Boys Club runs on a Thursday afternoon for boys aged 5 to 9, and they do games and activities. They do crafts, they do baking, they go on outings, and they just have a fun time. Nearly every parent who brings their boys in say, we're just looking for male role models for our boys. We're looking for a place they can burn off some energy and a place that they can have some fun as well. And that's what Tamatana is all about. The equivalent is called Tila Tila Girls Club on a Wednesday afternoon, where the girls come along and have some boy free time. And the parents really appreciate that too, where they can be themselves without the pressure of being pushed over or whatever. The boys play a bit rough and tumble. They do all the same activities. They still do the games. They still do the outings, the baking, the crafts, and all those different activities. Rock Solid's our intermediates club. It's been running for over 20 years in this place on Fridays from 4 till 6. And it usually gathers around 40 or so intermediate age, so 10 to 13-year-olds. And they do weekly activities, whether it be a fear factor challenge or a pizza making challenge or some kind of sport games or baking or some kind of outing. And it's a chance for young people to get to know each other from the various local primary schools as well, because then they'll often get to know each other in high school. Surge is our teenage program. Friday nights from 7 till 9. We gather teenagers from all the local high schools, and they do all those same activities, making connections, building relationships with both youth workers and with each other, experiencing new activities together, and being pushed outside of their comfort zone. Volunteers don't like the fact we do it on a Friday night because that's the most social night for volunteers, but parents appreciate the fact we do it on a Friday night because that's the night when teenagers most likely to get into trouble, so that's why we do it on that night. We have a few interest groups that we run during the week. Basketball club runs on Monday afternoons for 3 different age groups where they're learning basketball skills. They're everything from 5 to 12-year-olds, and they're dribbling, they're shooting, they're playing mini games, and particularly aimed at the beginners to moderates. We don't have clubs where they play against other teams. This is just particularly for people who might not have natural sporting ability, but can just kind of give something a try in a friendly environment. Craft Club is for those who like the arts and crafts, those who, they often sit down and have a Milo and have some music playing in the background and just chat and yarn with the leaders and each other and just be creative. Kitchen Club's a little bit more chaotic because they're making something every week, whether it be baking or meals. At the end of every term, they go home with a recipe book where they can cook it for the families. The families particularly like this recipe book, and they put a little bit of positive peer pressure on their child to repeat those recipes at home too. And finally, our 8th weekly club is a drop-in that was started last term called Te Tai Party. And this is a place where teenagers can come and just connect with each other and connect with a youth worker. A few years ago, we were part of a suicide prevention workshop, and they said one of the key ways of preventing suicide is to give people a chance just to talk to each other. And some of our programs, as you'll see, are quite action-packed, program-filled, and this is a chance where we have lower numbers, lower activities, and a chance just to connect and talk about family life, about peer life, and kind of whatever's going on for them as well. So this has just been a really important program that we've got up and running this year. I want to introduce Jaden, one of our senior youth workers, who's going to tell a little bit about his story.
I am one of our youth workers. I work here and in Shirley Boys High School as well. I coordinate Tamatane and our Surge on Friday evenings. I just want to share a quick story about Surge. We've had a huge increase in numbers this term, or this year really. It's been really encouraging to see. We're getting about 50 young people every week, which is a bit chaotic, 50 teenagers through our building. But there's one young person in particular who came along and has been coming every week, even if their friends aren't coming, and has just really bought into what we're about, connecting with ourselves and kind of what's happening around the place as well. They came to our family fun night, and I think from there they've expressed a bit of an interest to help out and give back to this place. So they're going to be hopefully volunteering on some of our holiday programs come January. But I'm really excited for it, and I think it'll be great. Cheers.
I want to introduce Briar. Just before she does speak, Briar is graduating from her practice course tonight. So she's been...
Kia ora everyone, I'm Briar. I'm a praxis intern. I've been in a paid job here for about a year. Before then, I volunteered 5 years here, so I've been here since I was like 13, 14. Was also a youth here as well. I've done basically every club here, every holiday program, just everything here, which has been really cool. Just the journey through YAT has been amazing. I'm just going to talk on quickly one of our groups called Tiro Tiro that I do, about a wee young girl that I've been working with this year, kind of like mentoring sort of in our group. When she first came, was kind of a bit hard, didn't want to partake in any activity, didn't want any friends, didn't want anything to do with it, kind of just didn't want to be there. And then it took me ages to kind of figure out what would help her, what would kind of get her to partake. So we started up a sticker chart, which honestly I had no hope in. I was like, sticker charts never worked for me. So I was like, that probably won't work for her. But we tried it and it went amazing. It worked perfectly. It was a bit hard at the start to get into it, but we kind of just kept with it even in the days that she just didn't even get any stickers, and that was totally fine. Like those were the days that we were like, we'll just try again next week. So that worked perfectly, and then we just came up with heaps of other strategies, and honestly last week she made 3 friends in the group, which was amazing. I was so proud of her, and just is partaking in every activity, wanting to be there, and it's just really cool to see that. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Kia ora koutou, ko Finn tōku ingoa, no te taha rāwhiti o Tautahi ahau. No reira, he east, you shot Matt, bro, east, hard, bro. Cheers, so I'm a kai mahi rangatahi here. I do a lot of stuff in my mahi, but one of the main parts of my jobs is mahi in school. So I work in North New Brighton Catholic, been there since 2020, so I'm like quite like ingrained into the school, into the culture and stuff, which is really cool. And then I just started this year at Shirley Boys High School alongside Jaden. Do some cool stuff in there, so we do one-on-one mentoring, we do group mentoring. At the moment we're facilitating a 8-week program. It's hard to know with all the breaks in that, but an 8-week program which is based off of StrengthsFinder philosophies. It helps rangatahi connect with, what are the positive things about their identity in a culturally kind of safe program. Our one-to-one work, we get to pull boys out for an hour at a time, have a kōrero, see what's going on in school and in their home life. One of the main reasons I love working in schools so much is the networking. You get to network with more rangatahi. I think that's a huge reason why we've got 50 kids coming to Surge at the moment, predominantly boys, which makes a pretty hectic time. But also networking with teachers and the resource and stuff, some cool things that have come out of that. Early in the year, some rangatahi we were working with ran like a youth-driven event down in New Brighton. It was like a basketball event, connected with the school, the art department, and they got some boys for their level 1 to paint up some like panels to donate to us and to donate to the community and that. So that was really cool to see, connect with those kind of resources and stuff. And then the other thing I love about being in schools is just consistency. A lot of stuff happens on our Friday. We've got very like small time to connect with our boys and that, but throughout the week we get to connect with them over and over again. And just keep those relationships consistent and also see kind of the wider what's going on for you at school, have some sway with the teachers and stuff, make some barters like, no miss, not a detention, nah, because he's like this and it's all good. And then they'll be like, yeah, nah, all good, Finn, I trust you. Another cool thing that came out of that is I've been working with a boy for a couple years now, and he went into Shirley, was having a hard time. Teachers thought he was like a bit of a bad egg, didn't really connect with him or anything, but he's super sporty, so I got him connected into the rowing program they have there, which is pretty prestigious, not really for rangatahi from the east, but he got like a full ride scholarship to be involved with that program, and his behavior's just like shot up since primo student. Teachers love him, executive leadership team loves him. It's awesome to see. Kia ora.
Such a great story. I'll prompt you. I love this. I love the stories of the youth workers, particularly the first three who spoke, Jaden, Briar and Finn, all been at Youth Alive Trust for at least 5, 6, 7, Jaden's even been longer years, and Briar and Finn started as 12-year-olds, and Jaden probably is a 9-year-old. We've got photos, we can go back. And when we stand up in front of young people and at our clubs and our holiday programs, I often point to them and say, you guys will be future leaders. You guys will be the ones leading these programs in years to come. You guys might even be the staff or the managers of this place in years to come. And it happens time and time and time again. Henry's another example. Mai's another example. And one of the boys that Finn just talked about now, and he did cause a lot of trouble for us a few years ago through our programs, and the staff members were like, I just don't know what to do with this boy. His behaviour is just so difficult. And now he's one of the leaders. He's coming along. And we knew at the time that he was leading people in maybe not the right direction, but now he's leading people in the better direction. And those are the celebrations that we get to make. These youth workers go into our local schools as well. So Rafferty Primary. Emma is our youth worker. It was Melissa, and Jaden was there last year as well. They're running groups. They're doing a wee bit of mentoring, some sports programs. We have a counsellor who works in there as well 1 day a week. And our music programs are also based at Rafferty. And thankfully, we've got the principal of Rafferty here this morning. I want to invite Liz up just to share a few words about the work that we do in her local school.
I ngā rangatira e te whānau, kua tai mai nei ki te tautoko I te kaupapa o te rā ara tātou tamariki, tēnā koutou. Ko Liz we e toku ingoa, hei tūmaki ahau ki te kura tuatahi o Rafferty. A little bit. It's 9 years actually since Youth Alive and Rafferty School established a relationship. That's because Rafferty School is just coming up to the end of its 9th year of existence. I can't believe that. But it's been a much longer association between Youth Alive and the merging schools, North New Brighton, Central New Brighton and Freeville School. I know I've been there a bit long now because there are Rafferty students sitting down here in this group, which is really awesome to see. And we have the best part of 600 children come through our doors every day. And you said something before about you live in this community, and I was talking to someone before over there about what's your involvement. Well, I actually don't live in this community. I've worked in this community for a long time, and I think that community's got really lots of different definitions, and it's not necessarily the people who live in the same place. I think it's a group of people who have the same attitude, who have attitudes and interests in common, and I think that's what's really important for me about our school association with Youth Alive, is that Youth Alive is part of the community that wraps around the children that come to Rafferty every day, and we work together in school and out of school to make sure that these children have the best possible outcomes. And that's really challenging sometimes for children who live in challenging communities, and like we said before, communities that are really harshly judged by the rest of the city, but that's just my wee bent there. Look, I've got a program and I went through and I could just tick off everything on the list. Our children really benefit from the weekly youth clubs down here. We have the Mana Ake team working in our school. Sandy, we can't survive without you. Sandy and her team provide counselling to us. We're able to afford that through our relationship with the Youth Alive Trust. And this year we've made a slight change. We have Sandy coming in and even working with the parents of our children who haven't even started school yet to see if we can get support around, parents who are anxious about their children starting school and children who are exhibiting anxiety behaviours, at the age of 4. Yeah, it's quite special. What am I going down this? Amplify are just amazing for us at school. We can provide, reasonable cost music lessons on site to children who just couldn't afford that in the private sector, and that's really important for our children. What else was I going to tell you? I'm not really sure, but I can't really I can never afford to pay James for the support that he puts into our school. And I'm always really embarrassed about that because I can't afford not to have it. So I just thought I'm just going to make a shameless bid to the people who are sitting here who have some influence in that philanthropic, I think that's the right word, sector. I spoke recently to a group at the ministry about the challenges of working in post-COVID, cost of living crisis times in a community like this, and was told very clearly that we're all in the same boat. And that just is a phrase that pushes all of my buttons, because I don't believe that we are all in the same boat. I totally believe that we are all in the same storm, and some of us have got lifeboats, and some of us have got ocean liners, and some of us have got a little bit of driftwood that we're just hanging on to. And for my school, it's the end of the year, I'm a bit tired. So much of what Youth Alive provides for the children in my school, and my teachers, and my families, is the bit of driftwood. But it gets them off the bit of driftwood and into a lifeboat. And I'm just so grateful for the relationship that we have and the opportunity to acknowledge that publicly. So thank you.
We're able to support a few of the other local schools as well. New Brighton Catholic is just based around the corner, and Finn works in that school particularly with one boy doing a mentoring program with him and with some of the senior students as well, and some lunchtime support. And we have a counsellor in that school, and Mana Ake too. Shirley Boys, both Jaden and Finn, they both told you do some programs in there under the 24/7 model. And are able to support some of the more at-risk boys there who are referred through their pastoral care teams. Another school support that we offer is winter sports through the local primary schools. When some of the schools play football and rugby and hockey, we're able to offer a table tennis tournament every Friday afternoon throughout the winter, and we have 100 or so students come here every Friday afternoon and play some table tennis. Our Oscar and our holiday program is our third part of the programs that we run, and we do after-school care every day. We pick up pupils from all our local primary schools, and they come here and they join in those existing after-school clubs, and then they have their own programs as well. And I want to introduce Hannah, who's the coordinator of Oscar.
Kia ora, ko Hannah toku ingoa. So I'm the Oscar coordinator. This year we've been picking up kids from 4 different local schools and doing lots of fun activities with them each week. They can join in with our clubs, or we'll have other activities for them to do. On Tuesdays we go to a park, play lots of games, play on the playground, and that's a really fun outing day for us. We recently had some young people notice that the vans were a little bit dirty, and they got really excited by the idea of actually cleaning them. And we had one kid in particular who asked us every single day, when are we going to clean the vans? So eventually, last week, we organised, I think there's a photo of it up there, and they had such a great time. It was really cool for us to see them just taking ownership over the vans that picked them up each day. We had some ice blocks afterwards, and it was just a really fun time. We also have a couple of our older leaders, our older Oscar kids who are helping out in some of the clubs as junior leaders. So we've got a boy at basketball club on Mondays who's helping out, and then a girl on Wednesdays at Kōtiro Girls Club as well. So it's cool to see them just stepping up and taking that opportunity. And we have kids from who've been involved in Oscar in the past who've come back to lead this year too at our kitchen club. So just really encouraging for us to see. It started out as a thing that their parents just needed childcare for them, but they're actually growing in their leadership skills and wanting to come back and serve as well. So that's super encouraging for us.
After a long term of after-school programs and school support, we say to the youth workers, now let's do holiday programs. We have 100 children coming to our holiday programs every set of holidays, and we do 3 different programs. The Kias are for the small ones, the Pukekos are for the school years, or the ages 8 to 10s, and the Piwaka Wakas is for the kind of 10 to 13s. And they run their own separate programs. They go out in their vans. They do activities all day from 8:30 to 3:30, and some stay until 6 o'clock as well. And we're always trying to come up with new and exciting ideas for our holiday programs. We've got one pre-Christmas, and that's nearly already sold out. And then we've got 2 weeks end of January before the school starts again. So the youth workers just can't wait for holiday programs. And I'll introduce Henry, who's one of our Piwaka Waka coordinators.
Morena koutou, ko Henry, wait, that's weird. I went sort of Japanese pronunciation there. Ko Henry tōku ingoa, Youth Live Trust Te Wahi Mahi, Kaimahi Rangatahi Ahau. So yeah, as James said, I have been coordinating the Piwaka Waka holiday program this year. I've only started that this year. Previously, I was helping Hannah on it, or helping other youth workers on other holiday programs. I've been on several of the clubs for ages, and the same with the holiday programs as well. Yeah, I've got a few stories for you about the different holiday programs that have happened since last November, when this last was, I guess. So at our Kia holiday program, most recently in the last holidays, they did some flax weaving, and then they took that down to the community gardens and then put all their little weaved things in the gardens and donated those to them. Previously, earlier in the year, with our Pukeko program, we had a lady from the Court Theatre come into this auditorium here and walk us through the theatre sports activity. You might not expect a whole bunch of year 4 to 6s to get into a theatre sports activity, but they did, and it was a great time. Also, earlier in the year, we took our Piwaka Waka kids from Broad Park on a walk all the way to Spencer Park. They weren't very happy about it, but they got through it, and they're happy to have an ice cream at the end. I think that was a worthwhile treat that they looked forward to. Yeah, I think I thought it through, and we've had about 20 holiday programs since December last year. And our final, James hasn't got to it yet, but our final breakaway, and we had a camp last year as well, but instead of having a breakaway this December, we are having a Piwaka Waka holiday program, which we haven't done previously. And we are still doing a thing for the teens, but it's going to be a 2-day activity that they go home and then come back for the next day in the weekend. Yeah.
Thank you, Henry.
That's good.
I just want to introduce a parent of one of the who brings their children to one of our programs. I'm not too sure what she's going to say, but I just trust her. So Jackie, if you'd like to come up. Thank you.
It's all bad. Not really. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jackie Urbom. I'm a local, and so local that I bumped into James at the local fish and chip shop a couple of weeks ago, and he asked me to come and talk today, which is really lovely. I was instantly nervous, and I still am, but James said to me, it'll be okay, just speak from the heart. And as soon as he said that, actually I relaxed, because it's really easy to talk from the heart when I talk about the Youth Alive Trust and what they've done for my son. So much like Liz, I feel the emotions coming on now because I feel incredibly connected to the Youth Alive Trust. For me, I think this cements local, and it's the epitome, I think, of community. it's important to me as a third generation New Brightonite that there is somewhere special like this. I'm a sole parent. I've got a delicious little boy named Archie. I could probably use other adjectives to describe Archie, so could Finn and Jaden. But Archie's deaf. He was born profoundly deaf and he has access to speech and sound with cochlear implants. He's also on the spectrum, so he has a unique set of needs, if you like. He's my greatest gift and my greatest achievement, I must say. But I work really hard to ensure that Archie has a sense of belonging and connectedness. And he gets that here at the Youth Alive Trust, at Tamatane and at the holiday programs. Because Archie has extra needs, he's often misunderstood. And that, unfortunately, has made me a bit cautious to trust, I think. I had a really poor experience putting Archie into a holiday program before coming here. And I was a bit gun-shy, to be fair, but in a position as a sole parent and working where I needed a trusted environment for Archie. And so I reached out and flicked off an email to the Youth Alive Trust, I guess expecting a bit of pushback, maybe. I laid my cards out on the table about how poorly it went at his last holiday program, and all I got back was warmth and invitation to come and meet and chat. And so that was the start of it, really. I came in and I spoke with Jaden and James, and we had a fabulous kōrero. They wanted to know about Archie and me, what I wanted and how they could provide that. They gave me a real commitment to share responsibility for Archie's well-being and their part in that. It was the start of a fabulous relationship, a commitment of troubleshooting. And I think what came from that is a real respect of me as an expert in my parenting. And that's been incredibly powerful in validating me as a parent, because let's face it, there's no rule book, it's hard. So James and Jaden created a really gentle transition for Archie coming into Tamatane. They created a safe place where he was validated, but they were also very aware of boundaries and structure and the stuff that a kid like Archie needed. They celebrate Archie's uniqueness. They promote identity and culture as a deaf child, as a child with special needs, as a local child, as a boy. Jaden and his team, Finn, are tolerant, they are gentle, they are patient. I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. Here, when Archie comes to Tamatane and to the holiday program, he is central. It's almost like it's run for him, and every other child is the same. Personhood and uniqueness are celebrated. Archie's two best friends from preschool come here. His two cousins, the only cousins he has in the world, come here. And Jaden and Finn are pivotal, and the other leaders are pivotal in role modelling. Awesome, masculine, I guess, stuff. It comes with the challenges. I must say we've had some hurdles, but at every juncture I've been consulted and praised and supported, and yeah, it's a safe place for Archie here, and he needs to be both challenged and appreciated, and both of those things happen for here, and I'm uniquely thrilled and grateful, and now stumbling on my words, so yay, that's me.
Beautiful. And I'd love to get more parents up to kind of share their stories as well, because I know everybody's got a story. Thank you, Jackie. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Our breakaway funding unfortunately ended at the end of last year. It was a contract we had with Oranga Tamariki and MSD for 10 years, but the funding has been diverted elsewhere, and we've not managed to find new funding for it. You might have seen us put out some emails originally, so that has actually put an end to our free holiday programs for teenagers and intermediates. It is something we would like to pick up again in the future, but at the moment we're not doing that. Another example of how our resources have been stretched a wee bit too thin, and our staff and our funding resources, we've not been doing any camps this year. So we've traditionally done father-son camps, mother-daughter days, and other camps. We've not managed to get away in any camps. It is something we would like to get back onto, and I know it's very important to go away for those, but at our capacity and the cost of living crisis and our funding restraints, those have been cut back too. We do some one-on-one support through our youth workers providing mentoring, and we have a counsellor who goes into a couple of the local schools, and I'll introduce Sandy, who's going to talk a little bit about her role doing counselling and her role running a programme called Kids Resync 2.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Sandy tōku ingoa. So I'm Sandy Hitchens, and I absolutely love working as a counsellor with Rafferty School. We've changed the program a little bit or the model a little bit over the last couple of years, where we now also take on some counselling students who are in their final year of their study and who come along board also to do some of the work with the children, which actually frees me up a little bit more to be able to play a little bit more with working on bringing that wait list for counselling down. And it means that we can actually get straight on to working with the parents as soon as there's a need that comes up. And so I work more with parents and staff and looking at ways that we can support that within the school. I also head up a group called Kids Resync, which is a group that we run through referrals from New Brighton Catholic School and St James Aranui School. It's a commitment for a term where we work with parent and child. And so I predominantly in the team work with the adults, with the parents, while our wonderful team, we have another counsellor, we have a musician, and we have an occupational therapist who come and wrap around the child and parent within that program. One of the unique things is we also carve out some time for parent and child to play together on their own within the program. We structure it, and one of the key things about the program is that it's grounded in evidence-based theory, but it's bringing things back to some natural interventions. So instead of looking for a bigger intervention because of this huge mental health and emotional issues that we're looking at, we're bringing it back to what is actually needed for a child to develop well. And so one of those key things is obviously that connection and that relationship, which you've heard a bit about today already, and play. And they're the conditions that can often take care of so many of the other issues. So that's why we're so big on that. That's why we have the parent also involved in the program. One of the, in our everything we do within the music, the occupational therapy, the counselling, it's all play-based. So one of the stories I'd love to share with you is about a parent I was just reflecting on who came into our program. The little one was very aggressive and lots of reports of aggression at school and at home. When we're working with this, the little child was just very hardened as well, as was the parent. And when we came to put them into the play, initially there was not a lot of play happening. There was just not a lot. And we were very aware that the parent, their play drive and their play instinct was completely buried from a whole lot of adult stresses, worries, and just the constant dealing with behaviours, which of course was cyclic because it was just going round and round. And so over time of the program, we noticed a real softening of not only the parent but also the child. And as that happened, we not only saw a more of a connectedness in the relationship, but we also saw more play happening together. And it wasn't long, towards the end of the program, we were hearing raucous laughter coming out of the room where they were playing, which was once very quiet, and we were sort of going, I don't know if we can leave them there much longer. I think we might just need to cut that playtime short. We're not quite there yet. And at the end of the program, just seeing such a softness in both of them, seeing a connectedness and seeing the little one being able to start feeling some of those feelings now so that then he was able to manage some of those big emotions that were coming up that was getting him in trouble. And that was also reports of a whole decrease in a lot of the aggressive behaviours. So that's one of the things that we just value so much, of just the power of play and helping parents as well to get back to their play instinct and drive for all of that connection and for that emotional development as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Sandy is totally gold. There's such a great support, and she also takes on trainee counsellors, which we're able to make referrals to for parents and young people who might not even have the funding to pay for counselling as well. So we really appreciate you, Sandy. Mana Ake is something that Youth Alive Trust took on a few years ago with a contract from the local CDHB. And I just want to introduce Kim, who's just going to introduce a little bit about what Mana Ake does and tell a little bit of her story.
Hey, kia ora everyone, ko Kim Button toku ingoa. I am a through and through Brightonite. I moved here when I was 10 years old. That's some time ago. I started working with young people in 1982, marginalised kids in the city, and have always had a massive heart for youth and young people. In that work, the longer I did that, the more I saw the need for preventative work, because so often when you're getting a young person who's 16, 17, a lot of the damage is already done. And so I trained as a social worker and I graduated when I was 50, which is a few years ago now too. That was so that I could serve our community better. I'm passionate about seeing whānau whole and functioning well. I love to see generational change, and I believe that's really possible with the Mana Ake work. In Mana Ake we do individual work. I currently have about 9 individuals, and we do group work as well. The group work's around friendships, social skills, anxiety, grief and loss, divorce, and the groups are really powerful, but I really love the one-on-one. We do a lot of parenting courses as well, that's kind of my jam. But the one-on-one, so with Mana Ake it's a little bit different than someone just going into a school and working with a child. We're in 9 local primary schools and they are all year 1 to year 8. So we have kind of our kaupapa is that we work with the child, the whānau and the school. So that is the child's world. And that is so exciting that actually, you know, one little thing that you can be doing, if you're working on all 3 of those levels, it can just bring massive change. And so I want to tell you about a young Māori boy that I worked with earlier this year. He's year 8. He'd been having a lot of problems. He was getting stood down from school a lot. He was erupting with violence, never at home, but often at school. And most of this year, he was only at school for a few hours a day. And I met him just before all that started, and I got to know him really well. His dad, who he just adored, had grown up in care, and his mum had also grown up in care. So they had come from a really kind of patchwork background, and there was a lot of real difficult, strong damage in their lives. They were really quite traumatised people. And I started using a program that we use in Mana Ake called Te Māori Ora, and it's really amazing. It really gives a sense of identity to the young person. And so I started doing it with this boy, and Dad at the time wasn't working. So I said to the boy, how would you feel if Dad came? He thought, oh yeah, that'd be great. So together, the boy and Dad and I looked at his whakapapa. We found out all about his marae. We talked about the journey that his forefathers had made and what kind of characteristics that would have taken to do that, and how those very characteristics dwelt in him as well. And he has just started a new school, and he lives around the corner from me. That's about being local. He skateboarded up my drive the other day because he knew where I lived, and he's used my drive quite a bit because it's a really good one for skating. And he skateboarded around, and he came into the lounge and he said, hey Kim, I've just come to tell you that my new school is going so well, and they've just put him on full-time school. He's only been like doing 2 hours a day all this year. He's off to high school next year. And I was able to support him around that transition into that new school. I actually met with him far longer than we normally do because he was at home and it was hard. You know, he wasn't seeing his friends and he was desperately anxious and marginalised. And yeah, he just came around and he looked like a different kid. But I just love the fact that not only has that helped him, but his dad also has got a real sense of who he is. And that affects generational change in my mind, and I'm passionate about that. I believe that's what's really necessary. You know, too many of our whānau have generation on generation on generation of dysfunction, and it only takes some small thing to make a real significant shift, and mana ake can do that. So listen out for us when you hear all those negative things about mental health, because we're not mentioned often, but we are an awesome team.
We have 3 full-time equivalent mana ake staff, 5 of them in total, and they're just amazing. And they could stand up here for over an hour and just tell story after story about the difference that they're making in young people's lives, and it's so inspiring. Thank you, Kim. Another part that Youth Alive Trust do is some of the bigger community events. We held an annual event called the Family Fun Night where we opened up the whole building. I'm just going to show you a 60-second highlights video about the one we ran a few weeks ago. I love it. Our big events are a bridging mechanism often into other programs that we run here, such as the after-school clubs and the holiday programs. And if they come into the building for the first time and they realise, actually, maybe those guys aren't that weird. Actually, they are quite fun. Actually, that's a cool place to be. It does open up other doors of opportunity as well. I Love Brighton's another event that we've been running in partnership with a few other community groups, and that attracts around 6,000 to 7,000 people every year on the day of Waitangi. And it's an event that we put a wee bit of time and energy into. We host the New Brighton Catholic School Disco every year. We're part of Kite Day down at the pier every year. We help with the basketball drop-in in partnership with Eastern Community Sports on Tuesday afternoons. And this year we ran a youth-led event called Splash down at the pier, just giving young people a chance to come up with the event themselves and run the event themselves, and giving the youth voice a stronger voice too. Some of our parenting and preschool partnerships, some of this stuff we no longer run ourselves. We've passed on the playgroups onto the church, who now run that playgroup. But we do run some seminars as well. We held a suicide prevention workshop a few weeks ago, which attracted members from the local community. We had a positive parenting workshop, which Mana Ake ran earlier on this year. We host some Plunkett parenting programs, breastfeeding drop-ins every Wednesday morning. And the babysitting training, which we have ran for years, has also stopped. And Plunkett have decided to move that course online, so we no longer host that. And some parenting courses, such as tuning into kids and tuning into teens, are ran relatively regularly too. Amplify School of Music is our music programme. Laura was going to be here this morning, but she's not well, so I've asked Emma, one of our youth workers, just to read her report.
Kia ora team. My name's Emma. I work here coordinating 2 programs. So I coordinate Ko Tiro Tiro and Rock Solid, and I also work as a youth worker at Rāwhiti Primary School. But like James said today, I'm going to share on behalf of Laura, who unfortunately is away unwell. So she sends her sincerest apologies for not being able to make the breakfast this morning, and was looking forward to sharing and meeting you all. So Laura's been coordinating Amplify School of Music since May this year. It has been a much bigger job than she had imagined, and has put her on putting on many hats in the course of the week. Laura's background is one of itinerant music teaching, but with more classical bent to our school here of New Brighton. She's been living in Christchurch for 10 years, with most of that time spent on the eastern side, and she has helped out with Youth Alive Trust in a voluntary capacity during this time. Amplify is a hive of activity Monday to Friday, both here at our music school, after school, and during school hours, at schools as well, that they are currently connected with Rāwhiti, Bromley, Marshlands, Te Waka Inua, and Redwood Primary. They currently have 129 students enrolled in lessons with 7 tutors teaching drums, bass, guitar, vocals, and keyboard. They have 7 bands involved in their bands program here at Beach and at Marshlands School. They are especially looking forward to having their end of year band night at Brighton Beach House on the 7th of December from 4 till 6, and you're most welcome to attend. Our bands have numerous program opportunities this year, including Carnaby Lane Midwinter Market, a joint venture with Surge and GVY at Loop in Papanui, and at our own family night, family fun night, which you would have seen in that video, some of them performing. They also have a great group of tutors who are well thought of by both students and parents. A special mention she would like to make is to Travis Brett. He is one of the main band and guitar tutors and carries the biggest role of students. He's been working with Amplify for more than 6 years, and as a result, has some very accomplished students. He also wanted to share a story just last week about a student who had been referred to them by the social workers in schools and was able to receive some funding from the blog charities Trust Towards Lessons. Travis has put his name forward for performing at the end of the year concert and talked about how he really struggled with engaging at school, but he loves his lessons, is super engaged with his musical learning, and has made remarkable progress, and he is really proud of him. This story is not a one-off. There's a few students in the exact same boat, and music is the thing they really connect with, feel safe, and quickly gain a sense of achievement at, all while getting a chance to express themselves in an authentic way. She just wants to thank you for choosing to help make it possible to provide these opportunities and experiences for our rangatahi.
Our Amplify School of Music is really well received in our community, and I also want to acknowledge a legacy gift that was given from somebody's estate earlier this year to really support Amplify. At the moment, it's not breaking even, and that legacy gift will not only help it break even, it will enable us to bring on more support for bands, more support for recordings, and it's already brought some funding for some replacement of equipment, which was desperately needed as well. So that was really good news for Amplify. Finally, the 10th area in which we operate is our leadership development, and I want to introduce Emily, who's our volunteer coordinator.
Kia ora everybody, my name is Emily, as James has said. I'm the volunteer coordinator here at Youth Alive Trust. At YAT we have a volunteer base of around 50. They are awesome. We wouldn't be able to run our programs without them. We have such a variety too of people who come along and volunteer. We have some of our volunteers are still in high school. We have some who are in their 70s. We have some who are parents, just a whole range of people. And we really appreciate them so much. It's also really cool at YAT that some of our young people that are attending our programs then have the opportunity to go on to serve at these programs as leaders and develop those leadership skills, which is pretty cool. Something we've been really wanting for a while at YAT is to have a grandparent figure at some of our clubs. And a few months ago, it was really cool. We had this guy just walk in to our building looking for places to volunteer. And after we had a bit of a chat with him and went through all of our paperwork and stuff, we found out that he was actually the perfect person to volunteer at Tamatane. He's really cool, and it's really great to have that grandparent figure for these kids. And we also have some other now, grandparent figures helping out at our other clubs as well. We've got some helping out at Rock Solid, which is awesome with our intermediates, and then also somebody who's now helping out at Ko Tiro Tiro. So yeah, we really appreciate them. We love what all of our volunteers bring to our programs, and again, we wouldn't be able to run it without them, so they're great.
Beautiful, thank you, Emily. And Maya, last but not least, tell us your story.
Yeah, so I'm Maya. I am currently coordinating Craft Club, which runs on a Thursday afternoon. I have been at YAT for almost 8 years now. I started coming to Surge in year 10, and I just felt very welcomed into the community. And I had lots of awesome leaders, which actually inspired me and made me realise that I could actually do this for a job and help people out without having to go down the traditional pathways of teaching or something like that. Over the years, Youth Alive has given me lots and lots of opportunities. There's been some leadership camps that I've got to go on, and lots of kind of bi-weekly training that we've done as volunteers. So I started volunteering 5 years ago, and I have since then almost done every club that I've been allowed to. So yeah, I had a time period where I was, I think, doing 3 clubs a week, which I just learnt so much. And then coming into the role of coordinating Craft Club was very exciting. It feels kind of easy because I know my way around, having been here for so long, but it's also been very challenging and giving me more opportunities to develop and learn new things, which has been very exciting.
Brilliant, thank you, Maya. We're coming into land. These are our last 2 slides. Outside, we have a few copies of our latest audited accounts. You can take one of those home with you, or you can find it on the Charities Commission website as well. It shows you that we managed to do all those 10 projects for less than $1 million, which is actually very, very cheap. And you'll see the breakdown of kind of how our income, more than a third of our income is taken up from the Mana Ake contract, which is our 5 staff, and then 25% of our income is through grants, 18% from fees, 10% from donations, and the rest just from contracts. It just shows that the church investment is not kind of the majority of where we get our funding from. We do rely on all our external funders to keep all these programs going. And that is why we do grant applications, and we're always looking for more and more sustainable ways of keeping these programs going. The cost of living crisis and the cost of wages continues to go up, and this is why we keep celebrating what we're doing, to try and get out there and tell people the difference it's making and how we need to keep doing what we're doing too. Going forward, these are some of the areas we need to just focus on. Our bicultural practice, honouring Te Tiriti o Waitangi, and that is something that us as a staff and us as volunteers and through our policies and procedures, that's going to be intertwined through everything that we do. We're reviewing our programs, what the needs are in that community, our staffing capacity, and the income that we receive, what's making breaking even and what's not. We want to increase the youth voice into our programs, into having input into what we do on a day-by-day basis, and we need to look for more alternative income sources. We are part of Upstream, which brings in some background income through businesses that are able to buy products through upstream suppliers, and we'd love to be promoting more upstream. If you don't know about it, check out upstream.co.nz and ways in which you can support us, and there are other social enterprises that we'd love to kind of get going too. We need to review our agency's model of practices, both within Mana Ake with our youth development models and within our wider clubs and holiday programs too. And the Roy Stokes Hall was something that was unexpected early on this year when the community asked, is there anybody able to take on this hall and kind of be custodians of this hall for the long term? And as a board of trustees and as management, we talked and said, well, maybe we are in the ideal location. We're just over the road. At the moment, we're at capacity with our clubs, and maybe in the future we will need extra space. At the moment, we said we've got a governance structure, we've got the policies and procedures to take it on, and we put in our expression of interest, and thankfully we were accepted, so we're now custodians of that hall. It's in good condition. There will be some things that will need upgrading in the long term, but this is an asset now that can be used by the wider community, and we'll be promoting that to find more groups and more services that can run there, and some of our own programmes may run there in the future as well. At the moment they don't, and our staff will continue to be based here and run all our programmes here, but that is such an exciting opportunity for our future. I want to give the final word to our chairperson of the board, Greg, who will just close us.
Kia ora, hello. Firstly, I just want to quickly honour the entire YAT staff. So everyone's sitting here, those that aren't here, you guys make YAT what it is. Thank you for your awesome work that you do. Just those stories that you told, actually I did have a tear or two in my eye, just the amazing things that you guys do. So you guys should be so proud of what you do. We love you guys. Just keep up the good work. And let's smash it for 2024. Also to you guys here sitting in the seats, thank you very much, especially for the friends of YAT, the people that come and support YAT. You've obviously seen the slides that we do need your help, your assistance in any way, shape or form. You guys make YAT what it is, with things coming with cost of living crisis, with a lot of a lot of funders don't have the money that they used to have, that is not coming out. We appreciate what you do. So if you can help us in any way, shape or form, whether it's be telling your friends and your family or your workmates or other businesses about YAT and what it does, or just continuing that faithful giving that you're doing. We appreciate everything you do. YAT is an amazing organisation, and I'm just so proud to be part of it. So again, thank you all for coming, and just if you've got any questions, James, David back there, or I am happy to answer any questions if you want to have discuss anything. But again, thank you for coming. Wish you all the best for the day. Go and smash it. Thank you very much.